Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
We are the Breakfast Club. All right, now let's get in some front page news. Now, congratulations to Carmelo Anthony has been elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Easy call. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely,
Easy call, man. Easy call.
Now, the full class of 2025 will be announced on Saturday at the men's Final Four in San Antonio. So, salute again to Melo.
Easy call. There was never any doubt.
Not at all.
That's a first ballot Hall of Famer, okay?
What up, Morgan?
What up, what up, what up? And hey, Baltimore. Shout out Carmelo Anthony. I love
girl?
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the front page news. So, yeah, it's Tariff Thursday. It's Tariff every day, right? So, President Trump has signed new U.S. global tariffs, keeping in line with his campaign promise to saying that tariffs will end decades of unfair trade policies. So, he spoke more on the order yesterday at the White House. Let's jump right into the audio and take a listen to President Trump.
Today, we're standing up for the American worker, and we are finally putting America first. My answer is very simple. If they complain, if you want your tariff rate to be zero, then you build your product right here in America, because there is no tariff if you build your plant, your product in America.
So Trump blamed past leaders for trade policies that he said were imbalanced, adding that tariffs stand to benefit Americans, as you heard in that audio. Companies can also avoid paying tariffs if they make their products in the U.S. Trump spoke more on this whole tariffs thing. Let's hear more from President Trump.
April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen.
So tariffs cover a wide range of products that are targeting several countries, including Canada, Mexico, China, and the European Union. Now, Trump called the reciprocal tariffs the day, April 2nd, yesterday, Liberation Day for the U.S. after trading partners have, quote, looted, pillaged, and raped American industries for decades, leading to a loss of U.S. jobs and manufacturing. All countries will have an immediate 10% baseline tariff on imported goods, and many are getting hit with larger tariffs on top of that. Now, critics claim the reciprocal tariffs are unfair and could lead to hyperinflation. You guys have any thoughts?
Yeah, the thing about the tariffs I don't understand is what is the end game here? Like, I hear him say it will end unfair trade policies, but, it just feels like, they put taxes on us, so now we're going to put taxes on them. And I guess he's trying to get people to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., but
yes.
Doesn't it just cost more to build here? Will they make it cheaper to manufacture here? Like, what's the benefit of building, in America? Just zero tariffs?
Well, employees are cheaper in other places too, but that's a good question. He was talking about, other people charging us tariffs as well, so he wants them to, knock off their tariffs, which will knock off our tariffs. I guess that's what he's saying, but I thought he was against free trade, and I thought he wanted more people to build here, but like you said, how can they build here if it's more expensive,
to build here?
One of the things that is striking me is the auto tariffs and how that stands to impact a lot of Americans, because it's not like we make all the auto parts here in America. So we stand to still, even if you buy an American car, the price of that is still going to go up because some of the steel, some of the materials are not made in America. So it's just like,
it still affects us. It still affects, and they're saying car prices will have to raise between $3,000 and $10,000. What it will do is it'll make used cars a premium. You know what I mean? Because you won't have that extra $10,000 on your used vehicle.
Absolutely.
And I just don't understand how, you're saying you're going to make it easier for the American workers, but you're doing things that are going to immediately hurt those American workers financially.
Yes.
Like, this has immediate impact on the economy.
Yes, it does. In fact, there is a bipartisan effort to block the tariffs against Canada. Kentucky's Republican Senator Rand Paul is actually working with Democrat Senator out of Virginia, Tim Kaine, who proposed a bill that would essentially end the emergency declaration put forth by the Trump administration to impose tariffs on Canada. Now, the Senate voted 51-48 in favor of the resolution that would block President Trump's tariffs on Canadian products. Yesterday, well, actually, we don't have time to get into the audio, but I will say that there are 4 other Republicans that support this Democratic-led measure: Susan Collins of Maine, Rand Paul, and Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. So the resolution authored by Virginia Democrat Tim Kaine is expected to stall in the House. However, the vote signaled bipartisan opposition on the sweeping levy. So this is bigger than just whatever party you voted for. This is an American issue.
Absolutely. But see, that's the whole thing. That's why we have all of these conversations about party, and everybody goes back and forth, at each other because you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. But once that person is in the White House, at the end of the day, we're just all Americans who are impacted by the decisions of what that president, does. Like, so you can scream Democrat, Republican all you want. At the end of the day, that is your president. We are Americans, and we're impacted by his decisions.
And that's essentially what the senators were saying, that, hey, look, if we could agree that we don't like this, then, we can go ahead and put forth some measures to combat it. And this is something that, those senators seem to agree on.
Because all we care, I'm sorry, Morgan, all we care about as American people is, keeping some money in our pocket and being safe. I don't care what your race is, your religion is, your sexuality is, your gender is. Those are the 2 things that you care about the most. Having some money in your pocket and being safe. That's it.
Hurry it, clock it. All right, so that's your front page news for 6 a.m. I'll talk to you guys at 7, and we will get into what's going on with Elon Musk.
All right. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. Again, we got to congratulate Carmelo Anthony. He has been elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Easy call, man. First ballot Hall of Famer, man. Salute to Melo.
Absolutely. And also the NBA is looking into Ja Morant. They believe he might have been using his hands and arms to mimic shooting a gun toward the Golden State Warriors bench in Tuesday's game. So they're looking into that. Well, they don't like you using a gun stuff and pointing fingers and stuff like that.
They need to change the language and stop saying shoot. He shot the ball. He's shooting. Who cares? You know what bothers me about that?
What?
Steph Curry had 52 points in that game, 12 3-pointers, and that's what we talking about?
Hey, NBA's doing an investigation. What's up, Morgan?
Listen, Ja Morant, he's got a little love-hate thing going on with the whole gun thing. This is not his first thing with the gun around the NBA. They have been very clear about their policies and how they feel about these type of things. And he seemingly goes on social media. He's had multiple instances of gun-related type instances.
Well, he's had other instances where he was actually holding real guns.
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
Just doing some head stuff.
Now, he did a point finger before, and he was mad at that before.
Probably because of his history with actual real guns. But my whole point is it's in the heat of the moment during a basketball game, man.
I'm with you. I don't see nothing wrong with it. It's basketball at the end of the day. He ain't really shooting nobody.
He fake shot somebody.
It's like
he didn't even do that.
Boom, you shoot 3.
I didn't even realize. I didn't even think it was a gun at first. I thought he was doing like this, like.
What is that?
I don't know what that is. Black people don't never know what to do with their hands. Black people are always doing just something with their hands.
All right, y'all, let's get back into the front page news. So Elon Musk, he will likely be stepping back from his role in the Trump administration. The reports come after the tech billionaire super PAC spent millions in a losing effort to get their Republican-backed candidate on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Musk has repeatedly said he'll leave his position at DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, within his 130-day mandate as a non-governmental employee. So if you're not an elected official or a non-government employee, you're just a special employee by the government, well, you only have 130 days to work. So that sentiment was backed up by the White House spokesperson, Caroline Leavitt, who called the reports garbage. But, Elon Musk is essentially standing to be done with all of this at his 130 days. You guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I never understood why Elon wanted to be on the front lines anyway. Like when you look at, how it's impacting his business, when you look at how it's impacting Tesla, like the sales are plummeting and the stocks are dropping. I never understood why he just couldn't be like every other oligarch and, donate to these campaigns and be the puppet master in the shadows. I never understood why he wanted to be all up in the videos, all up on the records, dancing. I just never understood it.
Well, when he first did
maybe it backfired.
Well, yeah, because I thought when he first did it, I thought the valuation of his company shot in the air crazy. Right, but then I guess all the other F-ish he'd been doing, it just shot right back down. But I thought at first it was like a good move for Tesla. But
the people who buy these Teslas mostly are liberals. Liberals are the ones who care about climate change and the electric cars and all of that. Yep. So, you get so tied in with Mack. But they always say that if you're a businessman, don't get so entrenched in, any one political side. Because what Michael Jordan said?
But Republicans and
buy
Democrats
sneakers too.
sneakers.
Like Republicans and Democrats both buy sneakers.
Yep.
Yeah, it's giving he was bored or something, But yeah, we will see what ends up happening
Well,
with
he
Musk after
should
the
have did
fact.
what every other rich man does when they get bored. Go gay.
What?
Nothing. I'm sorry.
All
I
right,
thought you were
so
gonna say buy a
bringing
yacht. but-
Right. Go
Jeez.
gay. That's
Sheesh.
crazy.
Oh my
You
goodness!
can't wait to get
See,
filthy.
I'm like you know from experience.
I've heard things.
All right, guys, let's bring things home to you in New York. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, he's praising the dismissal of the corruption case that was against him, thanking his legal team. Adams said he's happy that he can focus on the city and the city's future and finally move on. He's also apologizing to New Yorkers for having to go through this with him. Let's take a listen to New York City Mayor Eric Adams.
Let me be clear. As I've said all along, this case should have never been brought. And I did nothing wrong. I'm now happy that our city can finally close the book on this and focus solely on the future of our great city.
So a federal judge issued the decision on Wednesday morning to toss the case with prejudice, meaning it can't be brought back to court. This is weeks after the DOJ ordered the case to be dropped, and just one day after Adams is required to file documents to appear on the Democratic mayoral primary ballot, which I believe you guys' election day is in June, right? So, yeah, it looks like you guys are going to be gearing up for that New York election.
Morgan, you should go listen to Eric Adams on my guy Andrew Schultz's podcast, Flagrant. Like he says he feels like he was targeted by the Biden administration because he spoke out against the migrant issue, and he said that he feels like there's a permanent government that is in control. Like a permanent government that regardless of what happens in elections or who looks like the figurehead, he said he feels like there's a permanent government that's really in control. I just thought that was interesting for a sitting mayor to say stuff like that.
Yeah, and I wonder if he still feels that way. I'm curious as to when the episode was recorded, and now that his
Seems like it was recent.
They did it this week.
But that was prior to his charges.
Prior to the charges being
So
dropped.
I'd be curious to hear from Mayor Eric Adams. Tap in, how you feel about that now. I mean, do you still feel that's the case, being that your charges were dropped? A lot of people are saying that, all of this is happening because he was kind of chummy with the Trump administration, or that he, was working with the Trump administration. So, I don't know. We will continue to watch that situation and see, or hopefully that particular situation, there is a closed book on his particular case. But, I know he is still running for mayor, so we will follow that story. Now, elsewhere in New York, the National Action Network's annual convention is underway. I believe the Rev is coming to the show, right? So in opening remarks, Reverend Al Sharpton said the convention has never been more needed, and many things fought for and achieved for are at risk. Now, New York City Council Speaker Adrian Adams, who is also running for New York City Mayor, has a message for the President of the United States. Let's take a listen to Adrian Adams.
We are not going back to where our civil rights were taken away from us. We are not going back, Donald Trump, to endure your chaos.
So attendees and speakers included State Attorney Generals Ken Martin and the chairman of the Democratic National Convention, the candidates in the New York City mayor's race, of course, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, Eric Adams, and as mentioned, Adrian Adams as well. No relation, I believe. The convention's purpose is to discuss and address issues impacting Black Americans and the civil rights movement. I'm sure the Rev will talk about that later in the show. Looking forward to that, right?
Oh, no, he was here yesterday.
Yesterday.
That was yesterday. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He talked. Right, that's right. So yesterday he talked about the National Action Network convention. So that's currently underway in New York. That's right.
I was there last night for a little bit. I went out to support the good sister, Black America's big mama, Patti LaBelle, because she got honored last night. So I was out there with her. And you know who gave a great speech last night? Governor Kathy Hochul.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Governor Kathy Hochul gave a great speech last night.
I'm glad to hear you say that. You've been critical of her before, so it's nice to hear you, not to say ease up, but it's nice to hear you,
I'm objective. I'm going to give you props when you do something good. I'm going to be critical when you need to be criticized.
But why do people think that, right? If Charlamagne is critical on something, right, on whether each side, and then when somebody does something good, he'd be like, I like the speech. He'd be like, I'm surprised you said that. Well, I can't not like what you said at one point and then like what you said another time.
Because people are fanatical. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I know about being fanatical. People are fanatical with their politics. So
But you say your Cowboys suck at times. And then you say they good at
No, I
times.
don't. I say we're going to the Super Bowl every year.
But then you say they suck after.
But Democrats, if you're a Democrat, you feel like you can't say nothing good about Republicans. If you're a Republican, you feel like you can't say nothing good about Democrats. And if you're a Democrat, you feel like you can't criticize Democrats. If you're a Republican, you feel like you can't criticize Republicans. That's why everything's so out of whack right now.
So Democrats are Cowboy fans. Delusional.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, but that is a good thing to say because as a Cowboy fan, the last 2 years we haven't made no moves in free agency. So you ain't heard me say we going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, you did. You started
Okay.
the whole
All
season
right.
last
Delusional.
year.
See that, Morgan?
You're right.
Delusional.
Up
Okay,
here
you see?
talking.
That's right.
Lord.
That's right.
At least started the whole last season saying that, but
That's right.
I'm not gonna get too much into that. No, but it's nice to hear you, give praise when praise is due, like you said, and bringing things home to here in the DMV or in DC. So former President Obama is apologizing for his surprise appearance in a family photo. Y'all, he photobombed this family. He was taking a walk on Monday to the cherry blossoms, which are the cherry trees down here that were a gift from Japan, down in the tidal basin when he strolled into a series of pictures being taken of the Moore's family's young 2 children. Now, the mom, Pamela Moore, was focused on corralling the kids because there's no railing and it's, near the water. So they were like making sure that the kids weren't walking towards the water or anything like that. But dad was like, whoa. Is that Obama? Is that Obama? Is that Obama? And then when the mom finally, got the shots done and all of these things, she finally surfaced and was like, okay, what were you saying? And yeah, it was Obama clear as day. Let's take a listen to the mom, Pamela Moore, in that incident.
My husband's like, that's Obama. I didn't know he was saying that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm making sure I'm looking at Preston right now. After they're done with their shoot, I then pick Preston up and I'm like, what did you just say? He's like, that's Obama. I was like, what? I was like, well, did we get a picture? And then we went to a photographer and she scrolled back and we were like, we got it.
Yeah, why do you apologize?
I need to see
So
the
he
picture.
basically, it wasn't a real apology. He basically caught wind of what happened and sent a message to the
It's
kids.
a black family.
Let me see.
It's a black
Yeah,
family.
it was a black family. He said, Preston and Belle, I hope you enjoyed Peak Bloom. My bad for stepping into the shot. He wasn't like a whole issued apology from like a president, but it was just like, hey, my bad.
That's
Thank you,
cool.
Photobomb, y'all.
President Obama, if you got caught out there with your second family, just say that.
You a
Shut
clown.
Nah. That don't look like no photobomb to
He
me.
walking by.
That look like a nice family stroll.
Yo, shut up.
Nah, Barrio.
Yo, you see how
Let's
it is?
talk.
They just want a controversy with a black
Yeah, with
family.
black
See,
family.
He was too clean.
You know what I'm saying?
All
Black
that nigga
family
make-
out there enjoying themselves at the cherry
Barrio.
blossom.
Only
Okay.
controversy that man had was a different color suit, and now Charlamagne gonna say he got a different
man,
family.
my
That's
daddy had a
messed
second
up.
family. I know what that looked like.
Yo,
Hey,
man.
yo, you gave us 8 years of no scandal, right? No family type scandals.
Oh, man. Thank you,
All right,
Morgan.
y'all. That's your front page news. Follow me on socials at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, follow at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at BINnews.com. Thank y'all.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.